Welcome to the channel, Velocity RC Cars Magazine. Is it a channel? Probably not. It's probably something you waste time at work, but we're gonna call it a channel. Today's video is gonna be something different. I don't really like these unbox videos. It means I look inside a box and go, oh my God, it comes with whatever I thought I knew it came with. Not really that exciting all the time, but I will tell a story. Back when I was a little fish and got my first kit from Tower Hobbies, to me a Falcon, it came with a radio. It was supposed to be an Airtronics pistol grip, right when pistol grips were crazy, you know, the gun type. And when it showed up, I didn't get that. I got, I feel like it was Airtronics. Maybe it was Futaba. I'm getting old, I don't remember that stuff. But it was a box with a wheel on the front and a throttle on the side. So in theory, it was like a pistol grip, but a box. So that's how I got my brand loyalty. Pretty sure it was Airtronics, because after that, when I got my first computer radio, it was like, you know, when Santa was still relevant. It was awesome. I bought it, I opened it, I made sure I didn't drop it, treated it like a little baby. Now, I think radios are a little bit overblown. They're a little bit too technology based. I mean, what do we need on a radio? Maybe 4 things. Dual rate, endpoint, the sub trim, maybe some EPAs, and some mixing, I guess, if you're crawling. So you can get up to like 6 features. And I've seen radios that have an internet browser. Why the hell would I go on the internet on my let alone your phone? You can be on your phone all day, but you're gonna use your transmitter to look up a website? Seems kind of dumb, right? So I needed a new radio, or actually, I just needed a receiver for this thing. And I thought it was a good time to try something different. I'm crazy. Let's try something crazy, a new radio. And I thought about getting the standard brands, you know, the big names, the Futaba, the Airtronics, somewhat of the high tech, that's what I have, but we broke up. So then I researched a little bit and I was like, what are these cheap radios that everybody's using? And, you know, you could see them. They manufacture everybody's radios. You could tell what they look like, you know, OEM versus factory. But there was one that kind of caught my attention because it wasn't $50. It was $200 and I think $240 with 2 receivers, which is nice. So $220 or something if you didn't get 2 receivers. And I couldn't find any information on it. So I ordered it. What the hell? You know, I got money to waste apparently. And this is what I got. I got a box that looks like this. It looks like a junk box. And that's the first thing I thought when I opened it. I was like, oh my God, they're trying to get me to spend $200. And it looks like it's a box from, I don't want to say China, but it looks like some cheap ass stuff. And I was like, man, I can't believe that they would do that. This is where I cheated. I already opened this because I would have been much happier if I'd done this. So then when I opened it, throw it to the side, I get another box. And this sort of is the Apple experience at this point where you get a box that just says Noble. So, spoiler alert, this is the Flysky Noble NB4. I had to look at that because I just called it the Noble. And it's a computer radio in a cool little black box. I cheated, there's some parts out, I charged it. And you take it out, and you got this cool little hologram of the radio. Nice. Inside, I was sort of surprised because I feel like it should have been bigger than this. And it's weird looking off the start. Like, who's gonna drive with the shit in the front? This is how you're gonna drive? Which, to be honest with you, was similar to how I drove my first radio. But there's more. This radio has 2 batteries. Why have one when you can have 2, to be honest with you, right? Back up. You get a brick like this. I think it's, I'm gonna make this up. Might be a lithium ion pack, 4,300 milliamps. That's a lot. That means I'll forget it and it'll die one day. And apparently there's a battery in the handle. This battery charges this battery. I don't really get that, but okay. You know, Like as long as I plug it in and it's just charged, I don't really care who charges who. It also has a USB, so if you wanted to charge your phone off your radio, I guess you can do that. Again, some of the things I'm like, I don't understand, but you know, maybe one day that'll come in handy. So you basically just snap this guy on here. Never done it before. This is probably not the best thing to do. Probably going to cut off to me being able to snap this in right. It just slides in. Ding. And it's in. It's starting to look more like a radio, right? The front. Most of us are right-handed. Some of us are weird. Use their left hand for things, other than whatever you do with your left hand. This radio allows both of us to be happy. You can be left-handed or right-handed. Not with the wheel in the front. And this was much harder to move than I thought I was going to break it. But you can slide, and it has a little degree meter on the side, I guess, if you want to remember that you like 10 degrees or whatever you like this tuned at, you can move it, which is really cool. And to be honest with you, the first overall impression is that I thought it was a little small. Transmitters seem to have gotten smaller in hands, and if you have big hands, I got okay hands, you know, not small, not super like Andre the Giant. If you had giant hands, this would be hard, but it's super adjustable. You can adjust the trigger, spring tensions. You can do mixing. It's got a haptic feature in here where it vibrates when you want alarms and lap times, I guess. And the cool thing is it talks to you.
Welcome to Noble.
Welcome to Noble, yeah. And while I'm not super into high-end technology on radios, I'd prefer it just to be very easy. This is a touchscreen, and it's color, which is kind of cool. So overall, my first impression is I feel like I paid something and it's worth it. I didn't overpay for this, although, you know, there's radios that are $600. Are they better? I don't know. I mean, to be quite honest with you, everybody talks about frame rate and how fast things are. I turn my hand like this, the car goes like this. If it's not a second later, they're the same speed. You know, most servos can go faster than your hands can go, so what's the point? But anyway, you got a touchscreen. I'm assuming you can shut a lot of the stuff off, but a lot of menus. Looks to be very easy to navigate, which is a plus. I know if everybody can see that. And you just touch it, say I want to do servo reversing, I hit it, and it's there, and it vibrates, makes a little noise. Good. You know, I don't know if you can make a bad radio at this point, because even the cheap stuff seems to work, right? And yeah, it doesn't look the best. This has a nice look. It's not overly awkward. It's compact. And I don't really think you need a big radio anymore that's like this big. I mean, my first radio had an antenna like a deep sea fishing pole. I had to pull the thing up and it was like 3 stories tall. And the battery meter was actually the signal meter. And now we have nothing. It's just this tiny little guy. Receivers are also small. It's gonna make a lot of noise here. This one came with 2. It's always good to have 2. You got more than one car, right? Not crinkly. Here's what I don't like. My first dislike. I don't like bind plugs. I don't mind them. I just don't like when I lose them and then I don't have anything to bind. So for me, a button, or I think some of the radios, you just hold it close and it activates it. That's what I like. I do not like these. These are like E-clips to me. I don't see the point. But the cool part of this tiny little thing is the receiver is pretty small. Say that's probably about an inch, a little less. I don't know what your, I do know the millimeters, 25.4. I was going to say, I don't know the millimeters. I actually do that. It's not distance, miles and quarter inch or whatever. So this one's a 4-channel, and you got the bind plug. And then the other one you get is a slightly smaller one. Some little part here. Oh, it's a grip, a little grip for the back of the radio, which will be installed. And then a bigger receiver. I don't know why. I think this one is many more channels. Got another bind plug. Great. Congratulations. This guy is a 4-channel, which looks like has sensor options that you should be able to add to it. But this guy's a little bigger. That will not be going in my car. This little guy will be going in my car, but you can do more with this one. So it has sensor options that I didn't know that they offered, to be quite honest with you. So I'll have to look into that. My immediate test for these is just to put it in, get my car running here. And the one thing I'm going to point out is that this is the instruction manual. It's like the receiver size. It's not really an instruction manual. It's a quick start. I did find that their instructions were online and explained more. But it's very intuitive. You don't have to go in. I mean, it's cell phone based. You can select models. You can assign stuff. There is a sensor button. Let's push that. So whatever you get to hook up there, I'm assuming RPM, temperature, and all that stuff can be on your radio because you want to know what temperature thing is. There is the dumb ABS button. We talked this about on our live show the other day. ABS cannot work in an RC car. There's no brake sensor to stop wheel speed. It's just a dumb option, and please never use it. I wish they'd erase it. Sort of like the blind plug. But overall, my first impression of the Flysky Noble 4 NB4. I have to correct myself. I just call it the Noble. You know what I'm talking about. Not a bad radio. I'm going to put the grip on. I'm going to install it. And then maybe I'll have a longer term review in the magazine. But for now, if you just wanted to see a video and what it looked like, and if it was something you'd want to spend your money on, again, most of the time I'm going to tell you to support the companies that are in your area, that do things for the hobby, that support your racing if you're into racing, is at your local hobby shop, which this probably is. This was something I was like, man, it's, you got to get outside the US every once in a while. It's a very high quality radio. I can't imagine that it's going to break because there's nothing really to break. Everything has a nice feel, lots of metal in it. It's got a good weight. It's not too light. It's not too heavy. I mean, if you want to do some arm pump, start 50 pounding. You do have the option to be lefty. Just touch the button and it made noises. I don't know what those tune yet. You can be lefty or you can be strange and drive it like a phaser, like you're on Star Trek. I don't know what I'm moving. Steering trim. But it tells you everything on the screen, and it's nice. So everything you touch gives you a nice little noise. You want some noises? Gives me a little vibration. Some mixing knobs here, which you probably have to set up, which that little instructions don't tell you. But I'll figure it out. It's pretty straightforward. Noble NB4 pistol grip radio, 2.4 gigahertz with the whatever fast. Yeah. You're not going to know the difference. It's not going to be, there's not a 20-minute delay. It's not like you're watching YouTube and the lips don't line up with the sound. Quality radio, $250. You kind of want to think about it a little bit because the brand names have a mid-range radio right around there. Considered it. But this is something different, and we tried it. So review will be in the next issue-ish of the magazine. So if you're watching this video, we'll have a magazine with the full review where we go over most of the features, which honestly is boring, right? Servo reversing, I hate ABS, engine cut, idle up, stuff for a boat, the instruction manual's on here. So you don't even have to do it. I guess here's the good side of having stuff on there. There is a firmware update, which I'm going to figure out how to do for us Mac people. Not always easy. Hopefully with this battery and the USB that it's just looking for a file to update the firmware, which I don't know what it does, but check us out. Subscribe, hit the button, smash the bell, punch somebody next to you. Say, hey, this is Velocity RC Cars Magazine. That's Beethoven. I'm Derek. We're out. Watch the little outro. Here it comes. I couldn't find this online, so I had to come back and talk about this a little bit because I couldn't figure out how this grip got on here. I can't get this battery off once I put it on there. I feel like I'm going to break it, so I tried to find videos of that. I'm assuming you can get that son of a bee off, but I'm not going to try. Once it's on there, it's on there. So one thing I did note is that the radio battery is in here. When you turn the radio on, you're using the transmitter, the grip battery. This is a power bank. So you actually charge your radio by turning this on, and now it's charging up here. So I think it's full. According to the light, I don't think it is. So I'm gonna probably plug it in and let it charge somehow, because that's how you charge this thing. It's weird. And then the grip, I was looking the way, I thought maybe I had to take the bottom off and do it, but this is just a rubber piece as well. So you're basically just gonna pull this off and then shove the new one back in, which I'm gonna do now, and hopefully don't break it, because I'm trying not to break anything today. So it snapped back in pretty easy. Just had to kind of walk it down one side, press them into place. Very slight difference in grip size. I mean, I guess I can tell it's a little bit, I have to go super back to back, but it's a little bit bigger. Those who like to use to wrap the tape and get it, like the tennis wrap, I don't know if anybody does that anymore, but that would give it a little bit more girth if you need that. I don't. And we're on. So everything's set up, ready to go. I had to bind it. It says it's bound from the factory. Mine wasn't. Had to use that stupid bind plug. But this might be playing after the outro. So if you got this far, little handle sneak peek is how to get it off, pop it off. I still haven't had the balls to try to snap this off the base anymore. It probably will come off with a little bit of force, or taking this little ring off the bottom may help just to get that off. I don't think you ever have to. If you don't like the weight on the bottom, you can charge the radio and then take it off. It just feels like it would be slightly out of balance. This is a nice balance and a nice weight. So there you go, close up. Beep, beep.